In this lesson, we are going to learn how to write the equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. So to review the relationship between parallel and perpendicular, I would like you to count the slope of line A, B, and C that you see on your screen. So for line A, I see a slope of 1/3. It rises 1 and runs 3. For line B, I see it goes up 1, right 3 again, so this is 1/3. And line C, if I find 2 points on here, I see down 3, right 1 would be a slope of -3/1, or just -3. So what relationships do you spot between A and B? Now hopefully you notice that these are parallel lines, and you can see that they have the same slope. Now line C is perpendicular to A and B. And notice the relationship between these slopes. They are opposites, meaning one is positive and the other is negative. They are also reciprocals of one another. So to summarize, it would be true to say that the slopes of parallel lines are equal or the same, whereas the slopes of perpendicular lines are opposite reciprocals. In this first example, we are asked, what is the slope of the line parallel and perpendicular to the given line? So in line A, the slope is 2 because it is in slope-intercept form. So the slope of any line parallel to this would also have a slope of 2, whereas a perpendicular line needs to be the opposite, and then it does a backflip. So it would be -1/2 for the reciprocal. In the second one, we are asked for, well, first of all, let's identify the slope. And right here, the coefficient on x is -2/5. So that's our given slope of -2/5. So the slope of any parallel line, it needs to be identical. So it would also be -2/5. And for perpendicular, it switches to positive and does a backflip. So +5/2. Now in C, this one is in standard form. So to identify my slope, I'm going to first transfer this to slope-intercept by solving for y. So I subtract 2x, which produces -3y equals -2x plus 15. And then I divide each side by -3 to get y equals 2/3 x minus 5. So here's my slope. M is equal to 2/3. So again, for the parallel one, it needs to be the same. Perpendicular needs to be opposite, making it negative. And the reciprocal does a backflip to give you 3/2. Example 2 is telling us to write the equation in slope-intercept form that passes through 4, -5 and is parallel to this given line. This given line has a slope of 2, so the parallel one must also have a slope of 2. All right, so I'm just going to use some notation that's parallel, not 11. So I know my slope, and I write down slope-intercept form, and I think about, well, what do I need to do here? In an equation, I always need the slope and the y-intercept. So I'm going to substitute. This is just a point on that line, xy, so I'm going to fill in -5. I'm going to fill in 2 for my slope. X would be the 4 from the ordered pair, and I don't know B. So I'm finding B, and that gives me -5 equals 8 plus B. Subtract 8 from each side, and B is equal to -13. This means the equation of my new line is equal to y equals 2x minus 13. The second set of instructions, I'm told to graph both lines. So I'm going to do my given line here in red, y equals 2x plus 3. Start by plotting 3 on the y-axis, and I count a slope of 2, where I go up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1, or down 2, left 1, over and over until I reach the edge of the coordinate plane. So it's really easy to make a very straight line, even without a ruler. Right, there's my given line. My new line crosses at -13. which is a little bit off my coordinate plane, so I'm just going to graph it in the following way. Instead, I'm going to plot the point for -5 that I was given right here, and it has to have a slope of 2. So down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1 is going to take me off the coordinate plane, or up 2, right 1, over and over. And connected. And there are my 2 parallel lines. Next, we are asked to write the equation in slope-intercept form of the line that passes through -4, -1, and is perpendicular to 4/3. So perpendicular means that the slope will be the opposite and the reciprocal, so it would be -3/4. And we're told it has to go through -4, -1. So I just want to point out that the only thing that you are using from your given information here is this value to get your new slope. Some kids will mistakenly pull this 6 right here and use that in the new equation. If you do that, you're always going to be wrong, right? So again, we need to find b. All right, so how am I going to do that? Well, I start with y equals mx plus b. And again, I substitute. I've given an ordered pair, so I'm going to plug in -1. My slope, my new slope is -3/4, and x is -4 plus b. All right, so I'm going to multiply here, and that's going to give me +3 plus b is equal to -1. So I subtract 3 from each side, and I get -4 equals b. So my new equation for my perpendicular line is going to be y equals -3/4 x minus 4. All right, so since I drew this equation in red, I'm going to graph this one in red. So it crosses at -4, and I count down 3, right 4. Up 3 and left 4. Up 3, left 4. You draw a bunch of points until you reach again the edges of your coordinate plane, which will help you make a very straight line without your ruler. I will draw the given line here in blue. So this one crosses at +6 and has a slope of 4/3. So again, up 4 and right 3 would be about there, or down 4, left 3. And I'm going to do it again, down 1, 2, 3, 4, left 3. And I think I can do this one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and left 3. Okay, so I will then graph, and you can see that I do indeed have a perpendicular relationship formed. Example 4, we are to write the equation of the line perpendicular to y equals 4 that passes through -1, 5, and then we're graphing both of these. So I just need to remind you of a few things. So y equals 4 is the same as, in slope-intercept form, y equals 0, x plus 4, since there is no x. So that means that my slope is 0, and it's a horizontal line fixed at 4. So it's going to look like this for y equals 4. So what would the perpendicular line be? Well, hopefully you realize perpendicular to a horizontal line would be a vertical line. And vertical lines are always in the form of x equals. And what would x equal? Well, if it has to pass through the point -1, 5, that's an ordered pair, x, y, so it equals -1. So I'm going to graph my vertical line fixed at -1. And you can see, again, that they're perpendicular and that it goes through the ordered pair -1, 5, which is right here in red. So it fits the conditions. So it's really a very simple question, but many students struggle with this because they just don't recognize your special cases of lines and can't freely recognize x equals -1 here, all right? So please practice this type. And that's a wrap.